Alright folks, welcome to another TNT Auto Works video. Going to show you here on this Craftsman LT1000, we had to put a carburetor on. This solenoid was actually the bad part, but I could get the carburetor and the solenoid together as one piece cheaper than I could just get the solenoid. So we just went ahead and put a new carb on. We still running the original air box and everything. You can see here that we've got the fuel shutoff here that we put in, trying to eliminate this like they show on YouTube, which doesn't work apparently on this carburetor. It used to have a Nicky carburetor. Now it's an aftermarket. Runs great. Of course, you just hook it up like you did, your ground wired. And here we put some heat shrink on the connector. But what I want to talk about is, you get a bunch of videos or see a bunch of videos where they talk about the governor shaft. They tell you how to adjust the governor shaft toward the carburetor, and then this little knob right here, turn it the same way counterclockwise toward the carburetor, same as this. Nobody tells you though that when you put a carburetor on and you do that, now you've got to adjust this right here, your throttle linkage, and this is also your throttle. I did this work, and this mower was running wide open, way up there in the RPMs. That's not good for a small engine. You will detonate it. It will take off into space, believe me. So I'm going to show how to do that once you've adjusted everything. Now, what you have to do is you have to loosen this bolt right here, which is to the bracket that holds your throttle cable. You put your throttle here in high idle, which is where you would start to mow. Once you have this loose, that adjusts this to the proper height of where it needs to be. This hole right here, now this is key, this hole right here, if you watch, see that moving? There's that hole on the back side. What you need to do is put a pencil, a pen, or a drill bit in there and line. You want to align that hole with this hole right here when you're in high idle. Okay, as you're holding that, tighten everything down. Pull your slack out of here, out of this. Pull your slack. Don't pull it tight, but just pull your slack while you're holding a pin here so this doesn't move anywhere. Or drill bit. I think I used a 1/4 inch. I'm not sure. That holds everything where it needs to be. This will not move then. So what you need to do then is tighten this down, like I said. Tighten this bracket. Don't manhandle it, don't whatever, but just snug it up, make sure it's not going to go anywhere. Your next thing that you want to do is fire the mower up, because you've got this screw on the bracket, and you have, focus, there we go. You have the screw here, and as you see, there's a cutout on both of these. Okay, that gets you to adjust this throttle plate up and down. Okay, so once you got all that done and your hole lines up in full throttle, not choke, but full throttle where you would mow, Now you take and you start your engine and you run it. And if it's running high, okay, you want to take this bracket and when these are loose and pull this down. That gives you your gap here, just like I have. I did it in increments, small increments, until I got the engine running where I wanted it. And because my engine was running so high, before I did that, when I started it, I just moved my throttle down to idle. So I didn't hurt anything internally. So then I adjusted this as I needed to. Always remember, up toward the flywheel. Up is high idle. Down toward the deck is low idle. So up is high, down is low. So you can adjust these, take these screws, loosen them, pull this, whichever way. Now, this mower is a little bit older. So what I had to do was I had to take a hammer and lightly tap to bring it down where I wanted it. Because I didn't back the screws all the way out. I loosened them just enough, tap this down. Then and then when I got it to where I wanted it, where I thought it was running proper, I popped it back in. Now, 3750 is what the service manual calls for RPM under no load. 3750. Anything higher than 3750 and you'll detonate these engines. This is a Kohler Command 16 valve overhead valve, or I'm sorry, 16 horsepower overhead valve. Also says it there. Here's your information. If you would like to know, you can pause that. And we do have some oil that we're going to put in. Probably in the next video or so, we will drain the oil out of here and put some conventional 1030 in. I don't run synthetic in older engines. I have my own thoughts on that, and we'll talk about that later. Older engines were not designed or manufactured or even engineered to run synthetic. They were designed and engineered to run conventional. So conventional is what I run in older engines. That old Ford right over there, same thing, conventional oil. Here, in case somebody needs to know, is from Craftsman on a LT1000. There is your belt size, blade size, all the numbers that you need if you need to pull a part number. Even gives you 64 ounces of oil capacity, which we have. We are going to run, like I said, we are going to run the 1030. Some people say you can run 30 weight, but I always go with what the manufacturer says. This was a used mower. It has a Ford FL 910S filter. Yes, they do have a check valve. I do have a small engine filter to go back in it. We added a new filter. We took the old filter off, put a new one on. I got it from the local hardware store. I got this from the local hardware, and I put new fuel lines in. They were rotted out. This ethanol fuel will eat everything up. The new carb, the choke's adjusted properly. There's really no adjustment on the choke that I could see. It all has to do with the rods here. Now in the front of this carburetor, after I done this and got it adjusted to where I thought was proper, like I said, by ear, in the front of this carburetor, there's a screw that you can adjust, and it makes the flap move, and you can adjust your idle up and down by that, which is actually on the governor, not the throttle itself. So give me just a minute and I'll take this hood off and I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, we're back. I've got flashlight. I'm going to shine back in here, and you see that little gold flap? It's kind of hard for me to do with one hand and holding the phone too. But that flap right there, that gold brass looking flap, that's what your governor is on. Let me see if I can do this. This flap right there. It's what your governor's on. Well, if you come around here to the front of the carburetor, there is a 4-way screw right here. That 4-way is what adjusts your idle up and down. So you start your engine, run your engine, let it warm up to operating temperature. You take a 4-way screwdriver and you get in here and you just turn. Don't crank down on it and keep cranking real fast. Take your time and adjust, and you'll hear it idle down or idle up depending on which way you're running. I did it on low idle to get it to where I thought it was complete and right. So that's all that you need to do. You need to remember, if you put a new carb on, a new carburetor, make sure that you check here to your key switch that you have voltage to your key switch, because the solenoid has to switch. This is your fuel shut-off solenoid. They also call it an anti-backfire. I don't know. Some mowers, I understand, you can bypass this, which is what I tried to do right here. You don't need it on some. On others, we tried that. We could not get it to work. I had to get a new carburetor. I didn't need the carburetor. I needed this. But this was outrageous expensive by itself. But I could get the carburetor and this already installed for, I don't know, I got it for less than $20. So we come in here. It already come with the connector. We just plugged it in. We unplugged the original because it was busted up in here and we couldn't get it right. So we just unplugged it, plugged a new one straight. It's just a straight plug in. It's a butt connector, male, female. It comes with a male, comes with a ground. We grounded right back to the same spot. We connected these up, put some heat shrink on them, hit them with some heat shrink. We don't have to, but we like heat shrinking. I think it looks better and it looks good. Makes everything look professional, I think. I adjusted the shaft coming out of the governor shaft. You loosen this. I think it's 11 millimeter on this one. There's a bolt right there. You loosen it. It separates this. You can take this and turn it, like I said, counterclockwise, the same way that you move this counterclockwise. You move this counterclockwise. Everything goes counterclockwise toward the motor, or toward the carburetor. Then once you do that and you tighten everything back up, don't worry about your springs. They should be good. There's a spring right here. You do have 3 adjustments. This is where it was factory. You can go here. That'll change the tension here on your governor. But remember, take your throttle cable up at your dash, put it in middle or mowing, your high idle. When this is loose, bring this up to this hole till both holes line up. Push something in there. You won't be able to go far because there's another piece back here. But you can run a pen, a pencil. I used a drill bit. It lined this up. Once I did that at high idle, this done its thing. So then we pulled the slack out of here. You know, we didn't jerk it and pull it hard and go He-Man or Hawk on it, but we pulled it up to where the slack is like it should be. Tighten this back up. With it there, you can adjust this plate. I took it down to low idle because it was running so damn high. I was afraid of blowing the engine up. So I took it down to low idle while I adjusted. I backed these out and I adjusted this up and down. Remember, up is high idle, down is low idle. You've got your screw holes right here that you can take these and just slide this plate. It doesn't directly go straight up and down. It kind of slides, as you can tell the way it's cut. It kind of slides down and slides up. But I had to tap it with a hammer to get it to use the ball peen, small ball peen, and just barely tapped it to move it down. This is an old mower. I don't want to hit it hard, but that's what I did. So that's how you do it. A bunch of your videos are just showing this, and they're just showing this. They're not showing anything else. And I've been hearing that some people have been following that, and what they're getting is they're still getting high idle, or they're not getting throttle at all. I wasn't getting throttle. I could run this lever all day long, and my idle was not changing. It's all right in here. So if you do put a carburetor on, a new carb with 2 new gaskets, you've got a gasket on the head side and you got a gasket on the breather side. You do that, then this becomes out of adjustment. So does this. No matter what they tell you, what you hear, this will also come out of adjustment. Reason being is this was originally adjusted for the old carburetor, the old linkage up here. You've got this connected to the new linkage, or the new flaps, butterflies, venturis, whatever you want to call them. They're all new. Everything's new in there. And the bracket was even made, that this connects to, was even made a little bit different. So your adjustment here is fine. You've done that. But I have not seen anybody on YouTube say, when you adjust this and this shaft for the governor, you also need to adjust this. That's why I'm doing this video. That's why I'm here. That's why TNT Auto Works is doing this. We don't only work on cars. We do everything. This is your adjustment. If you have a high idle after doing this, it's right here. This is where your problem is. This is where your problem lies, or should. I did watch a video on YouTube. A guy did what he was supposed to here. He put a carburetor on, done everything. He had the same exact mower that I have, the same engine. This is a Kohler CV460S. S, I guess, stands for, it's got the starter on it, electric start. But he did all that, and he adjusted his, let me get this out of the way here. He adjusted his governor here, clockwise, or counter and clockwise, whichever, whatever. Both ways. Tried it one way, fired it up, it was still running high. Done it the other way, still running high. And he was wondering if there was a sweet spot. The sweet spot's right here. Right here, folks, is a sweet spot. This is how you adjust it down. That's how I figured it out. I had to pull a service manual on it. When I pulled the service manual, then it dawned on me, you know, I used to be a service tech. Took me a while. I had to pull a service manual. Then I was like, right, that's how it's done. So you can put this in. You can leave these in. Even after doing this, I no longer need this, but I'm going to leave it in. I just need to get used to having it. I'll probably just leave it on all the time. Right now it's off. But like I said, here is your, in case you have a CV460 Kohler, you can pause that. There's your maintenance information. And I done showed you on the bottom of the hood what we have there. Just in case people want to know, you want to match it up with what you've got. It's a CV 460. There's your information from Kohler. And then you have your model number, your spec number, and your serial number for Kohler. Like I said, it's a CV 460, 16 horse. I do believe that what I told you here on the governor works for almost every small engine. I don't know if, I think Briggs & Stratton would be the same way to adjust it. Your throttle is going to be different. Your throttle is going to be different on a lot of these engines, but pretty well you can look at it, figure out how to adjust the throttle. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe down in the bottom. Let us know that we're doing a good job. I know it's been a while since I've done a video, but we've been really busy. Probably the next video or two that I do, I'm going to get in here, drain the oil, put a new oil filter in. And like I said, I run conventional. I don't run synthetic in an engine that was never designed to have synthetic in it. Why would I do that? That doesn't make sense. So, but that's my opinion. That's my way of doing things. So like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Hit the notification button. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this was helpful to people. A lot of information was here that I had to figure out for my own. I had to pull a service manual from where I used to be a tech. So I hope this helps. I wish each and every one of you a great day. Thank you.